Today I will be sharing some key learning from my automation project in Red Hat, and the title of my talk is the essential pillars of automation testing for success. So before starting, I have quick question for you guys, like how many of you are working on the automation testing? So could you please raise? Yeah, nice. So how many of you are actually happy with your automation testing? Okay, so I can see one hand raised. Okay, no worries if you are not happy with your automation. This talk might help you to improve it. So let's see the agenda for the today's session. So we will start with the introduction, then we will go through what is automation testing and why it is required. Then we will see where exactly the automation strategies goes wrong and what is the business impact of it. Then we will go through like how we can mitigate this failure by using some pillars of automation testing, and at last I would like to share some of my experience in a project that I am working in Red Hat. So let's start with the introduction. So I am Sagar. I completed my bachelor's of engineering from mechanical branch, and later I switched to the software quality engineer role. I have 6 years of experience in finding bugs of any products and features. So currently I am working with Red Hat, and from last 3 years my day-to-day responsibilities is to test the feature, automate it, take care of releases, and involves in the sprint planning. So also there are some expectation from a like tester that we need to perform this kind of testing, and all of us that is done by me. So this is my first in-person conference, and which is why I am excited. Recently I started speaking at the conference, but that was a virtual one. And also when I am not working, you can find me trekking on some mountains, hearing loud music or playing cricket. So this was all about me. So now what is automation testing and why it is required? So automation testing is nothing but a set of test cases that are automated by using some tool. So whenever we want to release some feature or some product to production, we do some kind of regression or smoke testing, right? So for that we go to the GitLab, GitHub, we run the CI/CD pipeline, and depending upon the results and reports that we get from the pipeline, we decide whether we need to test the whether we need to push the feature or production or a product to the production or not, right? So so based on that, like let's say we push the product to the production and we find that any issues, we need to fix that before, right? And also, do you think the maintenance of the automation scripts are easy? Anyone if you think that maintenance of the automation scripts are easy? No, right? It's not easy. It reduces the some kind of manual efforts, but there are many things where our automation may lags, and as a tester like us or like me, we might be confused like whether we need to fix the regression suite or whether we need to test the product while we are in the sprint. So now we will see where exactly test automation strategies goes wrong. So first one, undefined success metrics. Many of our team members start automating without defining the success metrics. It leads to a wasted efforts, and as a tester like me, still we might be confused like, oh, our automation is helping us or not. For example, we automated 500 test cases, but what if we don't track things like how much time we reduce for the manual effort, how many test cases are stable, or how many bugs that we found while regression? If we don't track this, what is the use of the automation? Like, how will we get to know that whether our automation is helping us or not? So the better way to set the objective before start the automation. The objective, like we can set, oh, I want 50% reduction in the manual effort, or we can say I want 90% of our automation should be stable. So we have to set some criteria, or we have to set some success metrics. Second, automate everything. Many of our team members start automating each and everything, and soon they realize that they have 1000+ test cases. Eventually they are increasing their maintenance cost, not they are utilizing the regression suite, right? Third, skills and tool gap. So nowadays many of associates are forced to work on the other tool, which they are not familiar about that. Consider associate is familiar with the A tool and they are forced to work on the B tool. It leads to a poor quality of a code, right? Absence of reporting. So there may be some test cases that are silently failing, and as we don't have reports integrated to the automation suite, it might be difficult to find out which exactly test cases are failing and why it is failing. So now we have seen where exactly test automation strategies goes wrong. Now we will see what is the business impact of it. So 50% of automation budget gets consumed by the maintenance work. It's a huge one, right? So let's consider two associates are working in the automation project. One will always end up fixing the regression suites. So that can be a bad thing for us, and even it can lead to a SLA breach. So our organization or our company commits some kind of deadline for delivering the product, but due to maintenance we can delay the releases. And in today's world, everyone is expecting delivery of a product at a faster development rate without compromising the quality. And if that delays of the release started happening frequently, leadership and management can start losing a trust in the automation. And sorry. So
there is a number.
Yeah.
There is a number that 62% of enterprises revert to manual testing. So where does this number come from?
Yes, sir. So this percentage is not globally captured. So that is the number that we captured while doing a survey. Like what are the bottlenecks of the automation, or what are the issues that you are facing through the automation. So they 62% of the management and leadership voted for that. No, we don't want the automation for now or for this feature. We can switch back to manual testing for current sprint, and we later go back to the automation for that feature. Yep. Sorry, where I was? Yeah. So if we delays releases frequently, leadership and management lose the trust of the automation, and they might switch back to the manual testing, which again a tedious task for a QAs. Like they have to automate, they have to stop the automation for that sprint, and they have to switch back to a manual testing for that sprint. Okay. So now we have seen the what are the automation strategies goes wrong, what is the business impact, but is there any way we can mitigate these failures? So I have listed some of the pillars of automation. There may be variety of pillars that that can improve your automation, but I have listed few of them that actually help me to improve my automation project in Red Hat. So first one, write test cases for automation. Second, robust automation framework. Third, skill team and collaboration. Fourth, reliable test data and environment. So now we have seen the list of the pillars of automation testing that help to improve the automation. Now we can go it one by one. Write test cases for automation. By reading it, it looks like a simple one, but many of our people goes wrong here. They start automating each and everything, but we have to realize that everything is not for the automation. We eventually will increase the number of test cases, but how that automation or how that regression suite will benefit us. Instead of automating each and everything, we can set some criteria, like we should automate the repetitive test case only, or we can automate test case which are stable. We should also focus on some data driven testing, and also we can prioritize a regression suite over the automation whole suite. Like if we have 1000+ test cases, we don't have to, or we shouldn't be running it every time while release. We can group some regression tests which actually will give us confidence to release a product or a feature. Second, robust automation framework. So framework is like a foundation of a house. So if it is a weak, everything built on it will collapse one day. So we have to choose framework precisely as in, like, whenever we add new test cases, it shouldn't slow down the existing test cases. Also, we should follow the page object model. By this we can separate the locators and function from each other, and it will be easier to understand what exactly we are automating and what exactly we are doing as a part of a regression test case. Also, we should integrate CI/CD tools with our automation repo, such that whenever we run some test cases, or whenever we push some kind of feature to the automation repo, the pipeline should get triggered and it should generate the report. With generation of the reports, it helps us to investigate like which bugs are failing, which features are passing, so we can keep the track of that reports. Third, skill, team and collaboration. So this pillar is about the people. So the associate who is working on the tool, he should have some knowledge about that tool on which he are working. It shouldn't be like that he is having knowledge of A tool and he started working on B tool. As I said earlier, it can lead to a poor quality of a code. Now he should have some test design thinking, like why we are automating this product, why we are automating this test case, or what is the business impact, what is the edge case scenario of that. He should be able to know that. Cross-functional collaboration. We should understand what are the benefits of cross-functional collaboration. We should be able to collaborate with developers, stakeholders. Also, I would like to request some managers or leadership. They should invest some time in associate development. Like they should able to train associate which particular tool he will be working upon. They should let him know or her know what are the benefits of collaboration with developers. We also can adopt the shift left testing, by which we can involve in the sprint planning, and if we have any issues or concern, we can start discussing that in the sprint planning as well. And as everyone know here, like when everyone is involved in the testing, the quality of a product increases. Fourth, reliable test data and environment. So many of our test case failed, but it's not due to the application is broken. It's due to the absence of the data, test data, or some issues with the environment. So we will talk about the test data. So many of our automation test cases are dependent upon the data, and if data is not present, our test case might be failed. Consider an example. We have automated one test where we are selecting a product and version for some kind of test case. What if the product or version is not present? It will lead to the flaky test, and we will come under the impression that application is broken. Then we will start investigating, and after later, like 1 hour, we will get to know that that product was absent. So our test case was failing. Right? It can lead to the wastage of efforts as well. So to prevent this, we can generate data, or we can protect the existing data that we can use for the automation runs. Also, if we are generating a data, we can clean the data that's from the environment to make sure that our environment is safe and clean. Test environment should mimic production. So the environment which we are using for the automation should mimic the production environment. Mimic as in it should have same configuration, same database, same services. So by this we can catch the bugs that might occur in the production environment. Also, we can do the performance testing, or we can do the performance analysis of a similar to production environment. Now, we have talked about the pillars that will improve the automation, but in AI era, how we can forget about AI? AI in automation testing. So, AI powered test data generation. Nowadays, AI can generate a test data. So, instead of creating the username, emails manually, AI can analyze the test cases and scenario. By depending upon that, it generates some realistic data. Also, it helps us when we have to test the product, like when we have to test the complex product and we have a time crunch and we need lot of data. The AI will help us. Visual testing. So there are some tools nowadays like Percy, Apply tools which help us in the visual testing. Visual testing not only test the functions, test the application how it functions, but also how our application looks like. So while visual testing, it takes the screenshot of our application under test and it compares that screenshot with the baseline image. So if we have any discrepancy in the screenshot and the baseline screenshot, it gets caught. For example, the color of a button got changed or the button got misplaced. It can get caught in the visual testing. Now, this was all about the pillars of the automation, AI things, and I would like to consider one point over here. Like I am talking about AI. AI is not a 100% dependent. Like we can't rely 100% on the AI. AI requires some human check as well. So it's a part of a circle. Like 70% work is done by the automation or AI things, but 30% we need a human eye. Then only we can get a 100% result for automation. We don't have to completely rely on the AI things because it sometimes hallucinates. It sometimes generates the data that we don't require that time. Okay. So how these pillars of automation help me? So I would like to share of my experience, like how these pillars help me in Red Hat. So in Red Hat, I am working on one of the crucial project, which is a PCM, and in 2024 we got a requirement that we need to release one feature in a week. We started manual testing of that product and we completed the testing of that product in 2 days, and then we started regression testing. But when we started the regression, we got to know that our regression suite is broken. It was due to some pattern flyer on locator changes, and it took 5 days to complete the regression suite, fixing the regression suite. You can imagine, like new product, testing of a new product took 5 days, and the regression which is supposed to help us during the regression testing took 5 days. So that was a trigger point that we started exploring how we can improve our automation. We gone through some tools and technique. Then after after 1 month we came across this pillar. We tried some pillars like with trial and error, and after 2 quarters we got some results. Results like we reduced 45% of test case count in our automation repo. So it happened due to we prioritize like what exactly test case should be automated. The test cases that are stable and that was repetitive, we automated that. We also reduced our release timeline from 3 weeks to 2 weeks. We also started parallel execution of the test case in GitLab. So by this parallel execution, we reduce our regression timing from 1 hour to like almost it was 22 minutes, and still we are optimizing that regression timing. We also integrated LO reports with the automation repositories. So by that we generate some good reports, and we can get to know like if there are some bugs failure, we get to know like which bugs are failing and why it is failing. We can also keep the track and we can share it across the team as well. Also previously I forgot to mention that previously we was following one of the process, like most of us that follow us. Developer pushes a new code to a QA environment. Then as a QA, we start the testing of it, and once the testing is completed, we start the regression testing. But what if we caught any bug in the regression? We can raise a Jira or a ticket for that, and developer goes and fix that. Sometimes it delays our timeline, or sometimes it delays our releases. So to reduce this or to prevent this, what we did, we integrated our automation repo with developers pipeline. So it was like that. So whenever developer pushes their code to a QA environment, our automation pipeline gets triggered and the reports are generated and send it across the team. By that we adopted a shift left approach and we start early testing. So once the new feature is in the QA, we get automatically like, oh, this regression is failing, or this previous existing scripts are failing. So we adopted a shift left, and due to that we also reduce our release timeline. So yep, that was all about my talk, and hope you like the talk and it will benefit your automation to improve in your project. So if you have any questions and answer, please do let me know.